My first impression of the V1 is that it is a capable little camera. I have only the kit lens so far. It is the 10 to 30, which is the 35 millimeter equivalent of about 27 to 81. And I have the speed light, which is the SBN5. This speed light is really nice to have with the V1 because the body itself lacks an onboard flash. So you kind of need this. This little flash is powered from the camera's battery, and well, it's definitely proof that big things can come in small packages because a ton of light can come out of this flash. It's kind of amazing. So I've used the camera quite a bit. I've used it around town, but I've also used it for some more serious stuff. Like I took it up to the Grand Canyon and I used it for some landscapes, and I also used it in the studio. Like I said before, all's well. I found it to be quite responsive, and really it's exceeded my expectations. Responsiveness is kind of a big deal to me, or not even kind of a big deal. It is a big deal to me. I like specifications, as much as the next geek, but the real measure of a camera for me is this. When I need to work quickly to get focus and get the shot, will the camera deliver? Yeah, the V1 actually delivers on this, so it's kind of nice. Let me share some photos with you. Here is an example of some of the Grand Canyon photos I took this weekend. I used the camera in aperture priority when I was at the canyon, usually around f8, and the images are crisp and sharp, as you can see. Now, here are some studio photos that I took with the V1. I used the camera in manual mode in the studio. I had the speed light, the SBN5, on manual output, which optically triggered my strobes. I used my trusty Alien Bees B800s set up as optical slaves. I keep my studio pretty dark to avoid mixed lighting, so the camera hunted for focus a bit, but it was able to lock focus. And if I'd been using my continuous lights or maybe brighter modeling lamps in my strobes, focus would have snapped into place quicker. Don't get me wrong, focusing in my dark studio is a challenge for many of my cameras, and I could definitely fix it with brighter modeling lamps. I just haven't yet. Oh, by the way, I'll be posting the photos from that shoot on snapchick.com, and I will also be posting a behind the scenes video for my VIPs. So, have I said I'm totally satisfied with this little camera? I really like that it's small, but I still have a lot of the flexibility that I do with my DSLRs. And the SBN5 is great. I really like that it's really flexible. I can move it around a whole lot, like it goes all over the place, as you can see. And I like that I can use it in manual mode. As for the lens, it's been good, but I do like the idea of the 10mm f2.8 pancake lens, or even some of my f-mount lenses when the FT1 adapter is available. It'll be nice to use the camera in lower light without the flash, even though I love the flash, sometimes at least, with some wider aperture lenses. But in general, I am very happy with actually the 10 to 30 kit lens. Okay, let's talk about criticisms. There have been plenty of criticisms of the V1. After all, it's a new market for Nikon outside of their compact and DSLR lines. And it seems like the compact users may see it as overkill, while the DSLR users view it as awkward or underfeatured. Some people say that there aren't enough buttons on the exterior of the body. You can see it's pretty spare. Some people say the price is too high. And the biggest criticism, I think, is that the sensor isn't big enough. Now, I'm getting crisp images in low light at high ISO with the camera. So, I don't know, it seems like technology is getting past the days when a smaller sensor meant much higher noise in your images. In fact, my D2X monster here without a lens, look at how much bigger it is than this. Anyway, it has a larger sensor, but at higher ISO, there is no comparison. The V1 is dramatically better in low light. You know, size matters to me sometimes, but not in this case, at least about the sensor. I've actually posted some low light examples on my Facebook page, and you will see plenty more in the weeks and months to come. Frankly, I'm just not finding too much to complain about after my, real world experiences with the camera. Yes, it isn't going to perform quite like a more expensive DSLR and lens setup in all aspects. And you're certainly not buying a mini D3X with the V1, but it's a great option for those people that want more flexibility and significantly higher performance in a point and shoot, but don't really need a big expensive DSLR setup. For the DSLR owner, though, this is a smaller and more casual camera for everyday situations, and it still scratches the itch to have interchangeable lenses and plenty of shooting options. In fact, a couple of things that you have here with the V1 that you don't presently have with the DSLR is extremely high video quality with fast and accurate focusing, including face detection, and the V1 can shoot still images at 10 frames per second, and also 30 and even 60 frames per second. I'll be posting photos from my V1 studio shoot and a VIP behind the scenes video this week. Then I'll also be doing a complete review of the V1 for you. And I also have a deathmatch planned between the V1 and the D3100, so stay tuned and let me know if you have any questions.